Hey everyone, Shadow Rockets here, and today I have some really interesting footage for you. I really have a passion about this because it kind of goes against, or I guess it is thinking of, the physics of Halo. And as some of you are aware, I am an aerospace engineering student at the University of Florida, so physics is very near and dear to me. So whenever I was watching back the footage of yesterday's gameplay, the SWAT on the pit, I got a little bothered by some discrepancies in how much I had to lead the bullet for some shots and how little I had to lead the bullet for others. And there was even one where I shot behind the other player. When they were moving one way, they were moving to my right, and I shot to the left of them, and I still got the headshot. So I felt like that was a huge problem, and there were so many different things that I wanted to test in this situation because I had no clue what was wrong initially. And I am happy to say that I think I found the issue, and I don't want to spoil it yet. So I'm going to lead into the gameplay here in a second. Just know that among the things that I considered were speed of me relative to the player, distance between the player and I, and of course bullet speed, because that is the huge factor, and it turns out that is the issue in this situation. So let me flip it over to the gameplay here, and I will give you the rundown of exactly what happened and the data that I saw. Hey everyone, it's me in game now. So here's a few clips from yesterday's footage that I really wanted to stress are kind of messed up. You'll see in this one I lead him or her by a mile. As probably 3 or 4 entire bodies over to the right side. Now I was figuring, okay, that's interesting. It kind of makes sense because in Halo 3 we do tend to have to lead the bullets. But my problem was whenever I came to these next ones, which are similar in distance maybe, but not similar in the fact that I was moving to the right in the first one, and so was Fathom Carter. And in that one I wasn't moving at all, and I still aimed about the same. That one, he was moving to the right, I was aiming to the left, and I still got the headshot. That doesn't make any sense to me if there is bullet travel time. So this, I'm just providing more and more examples. This all seemed to happen with Fathom Carter. That was my, I guess, character of choice, mainly because they were a Spartan, and it was easy for me to kind of wow, every single one of these was with Fathom Carter. Alright, well, I feel kind of bad about that now. There's my daily text in the middle of my recording. That is my lovely girlfriend. Everyone say hi. Anyway, that one right there really was what set me off and what inspired me to do this, because if all of the other ones worked, I should have hit, you can go back and watch that in slow motion if you want, but I should have hit that person every single bullet in the head. So with that distance, so I took to, I guess, the math, and I decided to measure the walking distance, the step distance, how fast Master Chief walks. This is all based on how tall he is, which is about 6'10" without armor and 290 pounds, meaning that I'm assuming about a 15-inch foot, and with armor we're going to assume about a 16.5-inch foot, because he is 7'2" and 990 pounds with the armor on. So here's my first test with about a medium range, and it went about as expected, seemingly instant. I think I do actually have the number for this test. Yeah, it seems to be about 2,914 feet per second that the bullet travels. That is the exact time from the first bullet leaving the chamber. This one, this long distance, we're going to come back to this, because this exact shot and the next one that you'll see really are what set everything apart. This first one, I do believe, yeah, it was this first one. The bullet traveled at 1487 feet per second. Now that is slower than the medium distance, and this was determined based off of my distances that I measured earlier and the walking speed and whatnot. So this is the second shot from the exact same spot, and it travels at 2,148 feet per second. Now I'm going to put these two shots right next to each other so that you can see that there's a difference. That is a 31% variation in bullet speed. Now I have this next clip here where it's about to pop up. I'm sorry, it's very slow motion, so I have time to talk, but I tried to line up exactly to the frame at 60 frames per second when each bullet, I saw the first bullet lift and leave, and you can clearly see that there's a huge discrepancy in not only the reload time, which is really odd, but also because there was a kind of like a little bit of a lag in between the first and second bullet for the second one whenever I moved the clip over. But this was eye-opening. It wasn't necessarily just the fact that you had to lead the bullet, but it's the fact that the bullet velocities are so seemingly random, as I have tests here showing the exact same shot firing at 30% difference on average. So I don't know what's going on here. I think it is the lag compensation, to be honest with you. And that's weird because I wasn't even in a game. I mean, obviously you have to sign into Xbox Live to play the Master Chief Collection, but this was with my local console, with a guest on this local console. So the lag comp is nearly zero, or as close to it as possible. And yet I'm still seeing these massive variations. Now I want to throw in some fun facts here just to kind of end it on a high note, to kind of let you note that I did actually collect a lot of data for this. I've been working on this for a few hours now. So assuming the height that we spoke of earlier, and assuming that Master Chief's foot size is about 16.5 inches, it's a pretty roundabout number. Master Chief runs forward at about 13.75 feet per second. Now the reason I'm very confident in that number is the fact that when I went back and looked at the frames, even with all the math that I did, this wasn't rounded at all. It equaled exactly 13.75 feet per second, his running distance alone. So that was incredible. Now his sideways distance, it seemed to be the same. It does weird things depending on the leg movement, because the legs kind of act as if you're running forward. So sometimes it's identical, sometimes it's about 12.85 feet per second. That's not going to be a standard number, as the legs just kind of like twitch in between sideways and straight. So that's just kind of an odd number. And then backwards, it seemed to be about 10.4 feet per second. Again, that one was very hard to test, so that number may be slightly off. However, the bullets, that number I'm pretty confident about. So I'm a little confused as to how there can be almost 1,000 feet per second difference. This is 600, well, I don't want to say almost 1,000 when it's 661 feet per second difference, but it's easily half 1,000 feet per second difference. So I'm really concerned about, you know, you always hear me complaining, oh, I have to really work on leading my bullets. Sure, I do have to work on that. However, if the bullet time is 30% difference, the bullet speed has 31% variation, there's no way to judge 100% of the time perfectly the distance that you need to lead the character. So I'm really hoping that this can get out to 343 or the other companies that are working on the Master Chief Collection. And please, please, please check this out. This is really weird. Oh, also I want to throw in some random information about the battle rifle. It is about 4 frames at 60 frames per second difference from the first to the second to the third shot. So at one point I was at 96th frame, the next bullet left at the 100th frame, and the next bullet left at 104 frames. So I thought that was pretty cool, actually, that there was exactly a 4 frame difference, and in both tests it was 4 frames. So that's how I kind of guaranteed that I was doing pretty well. But again, this needs to be looked at. I did a test really close to a character, and that's really hard to judge the times, the frames and everything, but I got about 1,100 frames or feet per second, which I kind of neglected that from the data and from the video because it was so close and there were frame cutting, so it could have been faster than that. But the 2 really long shots, it was so plain to see. So I don't know, tell me what you think about this in the comments below, and please, let's try to get this out to the developers, because this is a huge deal and I really feel like it's lag compensation problems. So don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and if you want more in-depth videos, I guess, like this, next week is definitely going to be the time. So let me know if you enjoyed this. Shadow Rockets out.